What if you filled the Grand Canyon with soda? This question comes from Ethan, who asks, what would happen if we filled the Grand Canyon with soda? At first, that sounds like the kind of idea a marketing executive would pitch during a caffeine overdose. But let's pretend you somehow managed to do it. The Grand Canyon is massive, about 446 kilometers long, up to 29 kilometers wide, and over a mile deep. Altogether, it can hold roughly 4.2 trillion cubic meters of liquid. That's a lot of soda. For comparison, that's enough to fill every swimming pool on Earth, about 2,000 times over. It's also about 1.7 quadrillion 2-liter bottles, which means you'll need more than a few shopping carts. Now, before we pour, let's pick a soda. You might choose Coca-Cola, the classic. It's carbonated, sugary, and full of dissolved CO2. And that last part, the carbonation, is what's going to make this entire scenario extremely explosive. Imagine opening a single bottle. You hear a hiss. That's carbon dioxide escaping. Now multiply that by 1.7 quadrillion bottles. As the first waves of cola hit the canyon floor, the weight of all that liquid starts compressing the gas trapped below. CO2 rushes upward, violently escaping to equalize pressure. You'd get a planet-sized burp, the loudest fizz in history. The eruption wouldn't look like a quiet pour, but more like a volcanic explosion. Gas bubbles racing upward at hundreds of meters per second, throwing geysers of cola several kilometers into the air. Within minutes, the entire canyon would be hidden under a giant brown cloud of foam. Birds flying overhead? Gone. Tourists with selfie sticks? Sticky forever. Arizona? A syrupy wasteland. But the chaos doesn't stop there. The CO2 released from that much soda is about 8 trillion tons, more than all the carbon emitted by humanity in a decade. Congratulations, you've just accelerated climate change in the fizziest possible way. Now let's talk chemistry. Soda isn't just sugar and bubbles. It's acidic, with a pH around 2.5. That's strong enough to dissolve limestone, and the Grand Canyon happens to be made mostly of limestone. So after the fizzing stops, the acid begins to work. Over time, it would start eating through the rock walls, widening cracks, and releasing even more trapped gases from the stone itself. Essentially, you've turned one of Earth's greatest natural wonders into a giant, bubbling cauldron of carbonic acid. But maybe you don't care about the environment. Maybe you're in it for the ultimate pool party. Let's see how long that dream lasts. After a few hours, all that soda starts to go flat. The CO2 escapes, the foam dies, and what's left is a thick, dark, syrupy sea. The temperature in the canyon would rise rapidly, not because of sugar, but because of the greenhouse effect of all that CO2 hovering above it. Within a day, the soda would start to evaporate. The sugars and syrups would crystallize into sticky layers, coating the canyon walls like caramel. Imagine walking across a floor made of hot molasses. Every step would glue your shoes to the ground. And then comes the bacteria. Microbes love sugar, and with trillions of liters of it exposed to the sun, the entire canyon would turn into a biological nightmare. A fermenting, bubbling pit of rot. The smell would be indescribable. Within a week, oxygen levels around the canyon would drop as bacteria devour everything organic. The result, one of the largest biohazard zones in human history, sponsored by your favorite soft drink brand. Still, there's one upside, the tourism industry. Come visit Soda Canyon National Park, the ads would say, the only place where you can swim, dissolve, and get diabetes all at once. So how long would this sticky catastrophe last? If left alone, it would probably take centuries for rainwater to wash out the sugars and neutralize the acids. The Colorado River might eventually carve its way back through the sludge, turning the area into a new kind of wonder. The world's first caffeinated ecosystem. You'd have mutant insects addicted to sugar, raccoons that never sleep, and rivers that literally bubble with carbonation. In conclusion, filling the Grand Canyon with soda would release trillions of tons of CO2, destroy Arizona, create a global sugar fog, attract every ant on Earth, and make you personally responsible for the stickiest environmental disaster in history. So yes, it would be impressive. But maybe next time, just buy a six-pack.